Today, we're going to improve our mental health and resilience. Maybe you're dealing with a mental health issue like anxiety, PTSD. Maybe you struggle with substance abuse and addiction. Maybe you've got depression. Maybe you're even suicidal. The good news is you still have the gift of life no matter where you're at, and we can take wherever you're at and improve upon it, whether you're dealing with serious mental health issues that I listed or not. My name is Brandon, and I am a certified resiliency training assistant, which means I'm certified to coach on resilience, which is what I'm going to do today for you. And I'm also a certified mental health first aider, which means I can get you to help if you need serious medical help. A little bit about me. I have had anxiety my entire life and depression really bad from 2015 to 2021, 7 years. I finally got some help, got some training, got some doctors, got some counselors, and did all kinds of stuff, got better. And I hope that I can use some of what I've learned to help you no matter where you're at. Typically, this training session that I'm about to give you takes 1 hour in a group, but I'm going to try and compact it down into 10 minutes or less. So like I said, today we're going to learn to improve our resilience, which will help improve our mental health. What is resilience? Resilience is just what it sounds like. It's your ability to mentally bounce back to like a rubber ball. Not only do things not affect you as much when you get hit because you're resilient, but you also bounce back to where you were quicker if you're resilient. And it's important because it improves all kinds of things for us mentally and physically. Resilience lowers depression, lowers anxiety, makes us more successful in relationships. If you want to see a full list of benefits from improved resilience, go watch the first video on gratitude, and I'll break some of that down for you a little bit more. So why are we training resilience? Well, the good news about mental resilience is it's just like physical training. The more you do it, the more consistent you are with it, the stronger you can get. Just like doing push-ups makes your arms stronger, or just like running can improve your cardio if you stay with it. We can do the same thing with mental resilience. So no matter where you're at, if you start training using the tools I'm going to give you today, you will become more mentally resilient and more mentally healthy. It's probably not good to shoot these videos with the Mermaid of Death in the background, but I needed a new background and I really like that painting. All right, so what is today's lesson? Today we're going to learn resiliency skill number 4, which is called reframe. Another name for this class is control your thoughts. We're going to learn how to reframe our thoughts to control how we react to things. To start this lesson off, we have to talk about a myth. A lot of people think that an event happens to us and that we immediately react emotionally and physically to that. A lot of you probably think that, and I used to think that. In fact, what really happens is an event happens, we have a thought very quickly about that event, and that shapes our emotions and our physical reactions. If we learn to reframe our thoughts, we can control how we react physically and emotionally. Some of the benefits of learning to reframe our thoughts include improved performance on anything you want to perform well at, work, sports, whatever. We start acting on our values. We strengthen relationships instead of weakening them. And we start moving towards our goals instead of staying stagnant or moving away from our goals. So we understand that our thoughts are going to affect our emotions and our physical reactions. The second concept that's very similar that we need to understand, number 2, is the events that happen to us are not positive or negative. Again, it's our perception of those events that shape our reactions. Let's use an example to explain this a little better. Let's say you're at work and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, your boss wants to talk to you. You may immediately feel nervous and your heart might start racing. Or maybe you get excited. Maybe you're happy to go talk to your boss. 2 different thoughts could have occurred that caused those reactions. In the first instance, maybe you immediately think, oh gosh, maybe I did something wrong. That's why the boss wants to talk to me. If that was your immediate thought, or if that was your thought, you're immediately going to feel nervous and your heart's going to start racing. In another instance, maybe you think, my boss wants to see me. Maybe I got an award. Maybe you get excited and go high five a coworker. The event, someone telling you that your boss wants to talk to you, is not good or bad. It's your thought about the event. Let's talk about one more example. Maybe you're driving down the road. We've all been cut off by somebody. Do you get angry and honk your horn and flip them the bird? Or do you slow down and give them some more room? It depends on what your immediate thought was. Maybe you thought this person was intentionally violating you. Maybe you thought maybe this person's just having a bad day and they need some extra space. Whatever your thought was would shape how you reacted physically and emotionally. Was it anger? Was it grace? That's what we're here to learn, and that's what we're here to talk about. So the third thing we need to know about reframing our thoughts is we just have to ask ourselves, after we have an emotional and physical reaction, was that harmful? And here's some questions that you can ask. If you don't know if it was harmful or not, here's some things to ask. Was the way I just reacted harmful to my life goals? Was the way I just reacted harmful to my values? Did I act outside of my values? Or did the way I act hurt a relationship? If you answered yes to any of those, then your reaction was hurtful, and we need to think of a way to reframe our thoughts. So that's step 4, reframe your thoughts. We had a thought and a reaction, and we found out it was hurtful. It's time for step 4. Let's reframe our thoughts. I'm going to give you 4 quick, easy steps to help you reframe your thoughts. First thing you do is describe the event that happened to you objectively, which is the hard part, accurately, and briefly. I recommend writing things down. We all have a smartphone, so pull open your note page and just write down what happened. In this example, you might be tempted to write, some jerk cut me off. But we don't know if that person's a jerk or not. That's not being objective. What you should do to keep it objective is say, a person cut me off in traffic. Step 2 is to record our emotional reactions and our physical reactions. In this example, I would say emotionally, I got very angry, and physically, I slammed on my brakes and flipped the person off. Again, very short, and I like to write these things down. I prefer to use my phone. Step 3, ask yourself, did my reactions help or hurt? Remember, in order to answer this question, you think about if am I affecting my values, my life goals, or other relationships? In this situation, I'm affecting my life goals and my values because I would like to be a person that shows more grace and has more peace and contentment. And me getting angry and assuming someone's a jerk is not conducive to my goals. Then you go to step 4 and you reframe your thoughts. One way I like to do that is ask myself, was my thought true? Was it helpful? Was it kind? In my example, it's not helping my emotions. It's not helping my quality of life. It wasn't kind to assume that person was a jerk or to flip them off. And so what can I do to reframe that? What can I do to make it true, to make it kind, and to make it helpful? In my example, I might go, you know what? Maybe that person had to swerve for something I couldn't see. Maybe that person is rushing to an emergency and is dealing with something that I don't understand. In my case, I'd probably, assume, the person's in a rush and made a bad decision. There's nothing I can do about it and everybody's okay. So it's not worth getting upset about. That's helpful. That's true. And that is kind. One interesting thing that I've noticed about people is that we tend to judge others by their actions and we judge ourselves by our best intentions. So something to consider when you're trying to reframe your thoughts. So that's it, guys. You learned about the myth of emotional and physical reactions. First thing you got to know is that an event does not cause your reaction. An event happens and your thought about the event causes the emotional and physical reaction. So events aren't positive or negative. It's the way we think about them. Once we know those two things, we have to just ask ourselves, after we have a reaction, was it hurtful? Does it violate my relationships, my life goals, my values? If so, this is a good time to stop and think about the problem objectively. Be honest about what happened. It's not that jerk cut me off in traffic. It's that a car cut me off in traffic. Think about it objectively. Write down your emotions and reactions. I got angry. Was it helpful or hurtful? It was hurtful. All right, so let's reframe it. So there you go. That's how you reframe stuff. You are now equipped with resiliency skill number 4 out of 8. There's 8 skills. If you just have one of these skills, you can improve your mental resilience. And remember, you got to train resilience if you're going to get stronger at it, just like your cardio or your physical strength. Practice it. I'll admit it's not easy to reframe your thoughts, but with a little practice, it gets easy real quick. Just take baby steps. I will tell you the most important thing I can probably tell you. You have to take the first step. Wherever your journey leads you, whether that's going to counseling, whether that's going to a doctor, whether that's going to talk to a friend or somebody you trust, whatever you decide to do, action is better than inaction, and you have to take the first step. Hope you guys are already feeling a little bit better, less like the mermaid of death and more like the roosters of righteousness in my backyard. So there you go. 1 hour of training in about 10 minutes or less. Get out there this week. Do what you can to take care of yourself. And if you catch yourself having hurtful thoughts, practice reframing them so you can get stronger, more resilient, and more mentally healthy. If you found this video helpful, share it with a friend. If you want to see more content like this, you can click on the little circle in the middle. That'll subscribe you to our channel. If you'd like to see another resiliency skill, I really like the skill on gratitude. I think it's really easy to learn and it's really quick. You can click on that right here. And if you want to see other ways to improve your mental health and resilience, here's some other ways you can get outside, boost your physical health and your mental health.